Hello, you guys, and we're back with podcast number 21.
Yes,
it's been a beautiful day. It is
Wednesday.
There we go. I've been so lost in my days. This is Ralphie checking in right here.
Hector checking in.
Ruben.
Lex.
Yvonne.
And we are talking about
The pros and cons in becoming a tenant or landlord.
and or landlord.
And or
tenant.
We want to touch base on a little bit of everything, especially when it comes to tenants, landlords. I know we've been asked a couple questions on how to become a landlord. And then we also read our comments that somebody else mentioned that what are the pros and cons when it comes to being a landlord. And we just want to go ahead and I think Lexi has good pointers that she wanted to point out earlier.
Yeah, well, this is when it comes to landlords, and it's a con. So, kind of starting off.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, I think it's a con that renters are heavily protected right now, in the state of California at least. Please don't quote me if you're from like Texas, because I have no idea. But they're heavily protected, and the eviction process is very, very tricky.
And actually, California is
A tough state.
very tough,
Very tough.
especially city of LA.
Yes.
And so it's very tough, especially for landlords who own multiple properties and then find themselves with COVID and everything, tenants not making payments. They find themselves with the whatever mortgages they have on the property, and then they find themselves in default themselves because tenants aren't paying anything.
Yeah.
But if you were affected because of COVID and your tenants weren't paying, the state does help you with those funds. You just have to apply as a landlord and collect those funds of the tenant that were not paying.
Are they like rents?
Basically. So they'll pay you what the tenant should have been paying you.
Yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of circumstances where a lot of rental properties have gone into foreclosure just because the tenants either weren't paying, and now it's just really hard to get back
Yeah.
We're helping a
current,
lot of
especially
people.
when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we can since they're basically considered a business, a rental property, we can always help out with our money or private money too as well.
Yeah, we're helping a lot of people get out of foreclosure. I can say since 2007, my experience with the market crash, and no, I wasn't a landlord. Oh, yeah, actually, I was, because there was another property. They stopped paying too, and I was able to help about 250 people between 250 properties. Actually more, but I'll just go with 250 on the low end. Between 2009 and 2013. And a lot of these landlords, man, tenants just stop paying because when the economy, when it goes down, people lose jobs, and not just, we didn't have COVID then, but you lose your employment, you lose your ability to pay the rents, and then as landlords to try to evict them, especially in the city of LA, good luck. I think you're upwards of 22,000 on average
I believe 23
to get them out, right?
Yeah.
So it's insane, but yeah. And then on the tenant side, I mean, damn, sometimes it's, it sucks. You lose your job, how can you pay? So, but anyways.
But on the bright side, it can be passive income.
Yeah.
Depending if you get the right tenants, and of course you have to screen your tenants before
could
renting, because I think that was one of the faults. They don't
They
screen them
weren't screened.
properly. You have to do background check, pull the credit to make sure they're reliable.
Well,
tenants.
now
They're-
you can't do a background check.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, but they're
it's
companies,
it's
they're
illegal
third
to
party
do background
It's
companies.
illegal to
Never
do.
mind.
I don't know about the
California.
background check, but I know there's third-party companies that they actually screen them for you, and they're also collecting the rent for you. That way, just kind of avoids you getting too involved in everything.
I think you could get like a credit report, like the basic things, but you can't do a background check.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
illegal
what
now.
Credit. But what about cons for a landlord? I mean, the obvious is you're kind of paying somebody else's mortgage, right? You're not paying your own. I mean, no,
For the tenant?
The cons is just the amount of equity that you're going to have in the long run.
Right.
Like, you're not going to see any profit in the beginning, but that's just a long-term investment. It's not something that's going to make you rich right away, but it's just like an asset that you can have later on in life,
Are you talking about the tenant on
I was
the,
talking
on
about
the
the
pro
tenant.
side?
Yeah, con side as a tenant.
On the con side.
On the con side of a
As a
tenant?
tenant, as a landlord.
You never own the property. I mean, you're paying the
You
landlord's
paying,
mortgage.
yes. You're throwing away your money. If you calculate on a yearly basis and for 5 years, 10 years, and at the end, if you lived in the property for 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
you pay like 365,000,
Right.
depending on the.
But it also
Also-
depends. It also depends. In California, if you're renting at $3,000 and you want to live in the same city,
That's
and you
true.
want to do a mortgage, your mortgage is going to be $7,000. So, am I able to pay $7,000 versus $3,000? It depends too, right? If the tenant,
Right.
the tenant can't afford $7,000, then go ahead and pay your rent at $3,000. It depends, you know.
But I think on the bottom line is depending on the person and their goal. If they're not,
And their
yes, if they're not gonna plan to stay there for a long time, then renting might be the option.
Right.
But if you're just gonna live there and never move, and you need to consider relocating, you know, sitting next
Relocating
door
to own?
to own.
What would you say to the renter that's thinking about buying a house? Maybe he's on the fence or scared. They think you need 20% down, things of that nature. How would you kind of guide them into the right direction if it was the right thing for them?
Well, we are hosting a seminar on July 1st if anybody wants to attend here in
Sure.
Bellflower. But we can guide them. We need to collect all their financial documentation and give them their options.
Right.
And pre-qualify the clients and then give them the comparison between renting, especially now rents are really high, and versus buying. And also where they work and what city they want to relocate to. Because if they're, for instance, living in Los Angeles,
Right.
in downtown LA, rents are really expensive there. But you don't have to live in downtown. You can do a 20-minute drive
Right.
and buy cheaper. So it all depends on the person. So we would have to evaluate and collect all the documentation to qualify the client and see what their options are. And sometimes,
Don't be afraid to take that step. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to purchase, right?
yes,
I mean, you don't lose nothing by trying.
by trying, yes.
Yeah.
And then what is the worst case? You purchase, you cannot afford it, then you can sell the property
sell the
and you
property.
get your money back.
Mhm.
Or you can even rent the property if you feel, and rent the property to pay the mortgage and you relocate to another city. So, there's a lot of advantages other than disadvantages.
Definitely more advantages of owning a home than renting one for sure.
You
Yeah.
have to take the risk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we all have to take a risk. The minute you get into your car and take a risk. What about you?
Or even walking. Have to
Oh,
be careful.
running,
Anything.
With the California
I
traffic.
just think living in California a risk.
New York and California. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And it's very expensive. New York, California, Florida. Then there's Texas. They have these freaking big homes, right? Oh, somebody wants to buy $1 million house out here in California. You're getting yourself a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in a nice city.
Yeah.
Take that $1 million in Texas, and you're
Or
like,
yeah, a mansion.
Needing a
Bam.
mansion.
Yeah.
But then there's taxes, there's the weather, there's tornadoes. I don't know. It's again, it's up
There's
to
pros
the
and cons of
individual.
both. It just depends on how you.
It's scary for anybody to buy. It was scary for us to buy here, right? It was like,
Yes.
oh, shall we do it? Shall we do it? Shall we not? What do you get out? I mean, what's
What's the
biggest-
worst case?
I mean, what's
You
the worst?
sell.
Yeah, you sell the building.
And you don't lose. You break even.
Yeah, I have a question to you, both brokers. Can you buy another investment property using a 1031 exchange?
Yes. If you have to sell a property to get into the 1031 exchange, and you have to buy a similar property to the one you're selling for the 1031 exchange.
What is it?
And that's to avoid paying property taxes.
Oh, okay. So that's how a 1031 exchange works.
An
Yes.
For the
individual can
viewers
own
out there.
an individual can own 10 properties
Mhm.
max,
Mhm.
and a corporation.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Good question. What about the pros and cons of an owner buying units?
So the recommendation would be to buy units on as your first investment, because you can, let's say you buy a duplex, you can live in one and rent the other.
Of course.
Eventually, you probably want your privacy, and then you save up, and then you rent the other unit so you can have income. It can pay itself and probably additional income, and then you just purchase your own single-family residence. So that would be the ideal plan, to buy units and then buy a single-family residence,
Yeah.
because you can buy 2 units with 3.5% down
Mhm.
as a first-time home buyer.
2 units.
One.
No, you
Well,
can buy
one of
you can buy a
four.
duplex or 2 units, or 1 to 3 units, and so that would be ideal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what if condos and townhouses?
As a first time
You
purchase.
can.
Favorable? townhouse?
Depends on your
Lower
economic
price,
situation.
right?
Yes, depends on your qualification, because that could be an option.
I don't know. I think that whoever it is that wants to own a property, I mean, if you're gonna do it, right? My concern with, and everybody's concerned with the economy, the rates are really high, the rates are this, rates are that. Man, I think a good rate is 6%. That's where I started.
That's
Good
where I
rate is
started
6%.
too.
When Herman started, rates were like 19%, 13%. And then we got spoiled and went to 2%. Then next thing it was 3%, and then 4%. They're like, "Oh my God, it's the worst thing on
There were
earth."
still people.
It's still good.
3.9.
No damn sense, but they don't know because they're younger, possibly. They didn't experience what I experienced, so it's like, dude, 6 and 7% still not bad. So I rather, yeah, you're right, take risk and buy a property, own a property. It's your money can sit in the bank account and get what? What's the
Like
percentage? 0.02.
0.02. 0.02%.
Unless you're in a high yield savings account, you're gonna get like nothing.
Yeah.
Right, so put it into a house. Now you can even build small homes on a lot. So the lot's
yeah.
decent size. You can put a small home on. I'm not advertising for Home Depot, but Home Depot has the small homes that you can build on there, and they're really nice. You know, they go out there and do all the work, and obviously you got to get the permits and everything. But it's like, man, maximize what you can do with your own property.
Yes.
As a tenant, you're like, okay, can I paint the wall? Can I please paint the wall? You can do whatever you want and make.
Or even convert
Like
the garage.
ADU.
Yeah, convert the garages into the ADU. There's a lot of demand for renters, so I see it more as a pro than as a con to be a homeowner, because there's so many things that you can do. There's a lot of programs too that can assist with renting the home. You know, you can rent rooms. You can live in one and rent the other rooms, and pay for the mortgage as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you have a property that you listed and it's empty with 2 units and it has a guy with a machete chasing people out.
Oh yeah.
Stay in there. This is a real life story. Right? Somebody
Yes.
2 units are like, hey man, I want to buy this 2 units. 2 units is hard to come across. 3 bedroom,
And they're
2 bath,
vacant,
2 bedroom,
too.
1 bath, vacant, ready to move
Very
in.
nice.
But it comes with the tenant that doesn't want to leave, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even a tenant.
Well, it's a squatter
But-
kind of in a way.
It's possible, right? But if you come close, the machete comes out. So I'll tell you what, yeah, I'm good. I'll just, yeah.
And
So.
just as a homeowner, just be informed with legality issues too, especially in California. You're gonna do any evictions, make sure you give 30-day notice, 60-day notice, because I've heard people who've tried to evict people without notice, turning off utilities, and they get sued. So just be informed, things like
Oh
that.
God, really?
Yeah.
Somebody will say, "Yeah, I gave a notice. I told her today."
Yeah,
That's a great notice,
Yeah.
but it has to be in writing. You know?
Right, exactly.
30 days under a year, 60 days over a year.
Yeah.
Tenants. But anyways, why are we talking eviction? Let's talk moving in.
Mm-hmm.
Your experience with any file that you were kind of like, oh my God, like this person's crazy, or this person, oh my God, they drive me crazy.
No, that I can think of. No.
You have
Well,
one.
you
have
yes, your purchase where you saw some unwanted
Yeah.
creatures
Oh, no, that
on
was
the
a-
open house, the listings.
Yeah.
sorry.
Creatures?
Or yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, the rat.
yeah.
There was like little rats in there.
That damn creature.
I was putting the.
How was it taking those out?
I was putting like the fire alarm on, and all I hear is like a. That's all you could hear. And I'm over here like looking around.
Yeah.
And they were quick. You can't even see them. But then after that, we're hosting an open house that day actually too. And then I'm standing there like people are coming in, but there's like a little one in the sink.
Okay, so we're just about done with the podcast. We wanted to give some information to you guys. We're making shorter clips, shorter videos, so that we don't lose your attention span. And we want to give you as much as we can. Any questions, anything you guys want to ask us, feel free to message us. With that being said, you guys have anything you want to say before we sign out?
Yeah, for whoever's interested in either buying a home or just wants more information, we are having a first-time home buyer seminar. Our office is located in Bellflower. This will be hosted July 1st from 12 to 2 p.m. You can feel free to message us and then let us know if you want to attend so that we can go ahead and send you the proper invitation. And then if you can't make it that day, you can always let us know. We are going to have other seminars too ahead of that.
Awesome. With that being said, my name is Ruben, Krias XGFI. I'm out.
Hector out.
Rafael out.
Yvonne out.
Lex out.
You guys have a good one. Enjoy your week.
Ta-ta, guys.
Bye.
Be safe.
Bye.
Adios.